Joes.
Welcome to the Regular Joe's podcast. I'm Dave Pisani.
I'm Barry Kay.
And I'm Todd Pleasant.
What's going on, everybody? It's pouring here. So it's officially spring. It's raining, like all the time now. It's supposed to rain all week.
Yeah.
I gotta have something to put in this little spot.
I know.
If someone else has something else to say in this little area, please come up with it.
In New England, we are officially in mud season now. So it's just, this is to be expected.
Yeah.
Well, and if you believe the local Long Island News Weather Channel, he said, forget about what it says in your app. It's going to be a nice week. He literally said that this morning. So I'm going with him, but I think he's wrong.
Okay.
I don't think they have a clue.
No.
I don't know what. I didn't see Al this morning, so I'm not sure. Al Roker, friend of the show. No, not a friend of the show. I met him once. I was at a.
He's an alumni of Oswego University, like my son.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah.
I was at a Comcast thing. I don't remember what it was, but it took place in the SNL studio. And Al was like, they had him do some intro. I don't even remember what it was for. But he, like, before he was saying some fairly inappropriate stuff that if he had said it on television, it'd be a problem. But
he's
been around forever. Good for Al.
When we went up for orientation for Joey at school, he's like their most famous alumni. So there's life-size standees of him you can take a picture with and everything.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. It's a big deal that Al Roker's went to Oswego.
That's funny.
For whatever that's worth, so.
All
right, this has been your local New York news update.
Rod Serling went to Ithaca.
I need to get like a life-size stand-up of Michael Douglas for my podcast studio at school, because it's like he's probably the most famous person who went to school. I should do that, and it's just like, here, and have your picture taken with Michael. So
I'm pretty sure your school would fund that if you said you needed it.
Absolutely. I don't care.
I think I could make that.
I could also get the King of Jordan, but everyone would want their picture taken with Michael Douglas. So.
You got to get him in like.
But which Michael Douglas would you do?
Oh, I would
Basic
totally do
Instinct.
Ant-Man costume, Michael. The proto Ant-Man costume. So, no.
I think they may want something.
No, I think they would too. But I'm saying.
Gordon Gekko.
I was thinking of a bunch of other movies, but these kids wouldn't know, like Romancing the Stone or.
That's what
Gordon
I'm
Gekko.
saying.
They wouldn't know that.
I
stuff.
think these kids would relate to him, kind of scowling, wearing the old Ant-Man costume. So.
Yeah, what's he done recently that's not Ant-Man? Anything?
He was in that Ben Franklin miniseries.
Yeah.
And
all right, we're totally off book right now. But what's your favorite Michael Douglas movie?
I couldn't even.
Oh, Romancing the Stone. I gotta say, I have a soft spot for
I haven't seen that since the 80s.
And don't, because it's not going to hold up. And
I'm sure.
And
I
never,
don't know if I loved it back
ever
then.
look at Kathleen Turner. But
No.
But
my favorite
for
is a movie
for its
called
moment. It was great. So, yeah.
My favorite is a movie called The Game.
The Game is awesome.
The Game is
David
great.
Fincher.
Yes,
I was going to
movie.
say The Game.
Yeah.
What was the?
It's great.
What was the? What was the Red Sun? Was that?
Rising Sun?
Rising Sun?
No. He's not in Rising Sun. He's in Black Rain.
That's
Black
right.
Rain. Yeah.
You're thinking Sean Connery and
Black
Wesley
Rain is
Snipes,
what I was thinking of. Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Black Rain. I was working in the film business when Black Rain was being made, and they shot some stuff while we were shooting something else, and there was a big deal about it. Ridley Scott. I think it was Ridley Scott, right?
I remember that there were like a lot of fight scenes in dark alleys in the rain in that movie.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That was a cool movie. It wasn't as good as it could have been.
I also suspect it doesn't hold up. But, yeah. Boy, I'm impressed that you got to Black Rain from what I didn't.
But I was thinking the same thing. That is, right? That is, it was Ridley Scott. That was a big deal. Because I remember 1989, I was working on some movie back in the, everyone got their cameras from this place called General Camera. They were the only place in New York, Canada, and Hollywood that had Panavision cameras. They were the only ones that had the license. So I remember we were checking out on some TV movie. You'd take 2 days and you'd test all your equipment, and then they were doing Black Rain, and I think the guy who was the cinematographer of Blade Runner's son was one of the camera assistants or something there, and I'm like, your dad is like the man. And this is anyway. That's all. But I remember, and I heard all about this movie, and it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be.
I like it for its era and for what it was.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things that I don't think I'd want to watch right now.
It was cool that it was filmed all in Japan.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a lot of that.
No, and that was I think that's what all the hype was about. So, did you guys watch Landman?
No.
Neither of you.
Nope.
Okay, watch Landman. There's a Landman adjacent spoiler. I won't bring up, but
okay.
Barry,
I was just saying my other favorite Michael Douglas movie is Falling Down. Love that movie.
I don't like that
movie. I don't
It's,
either.
The ending is sad and horrible.
I know it's sad and depressing, but I
hate that movie.
He just has a really, really bad day, and it just goes so bad.
But I don't like that. Wall Street, there's a lot of good stuff. Anyway, that's 10 minutes on
Michael Douglas. Yeah.
Michael Douglas.
On my future standee. Yeah. So I'll let you know how that goes.
I can't wait till you
Who's
get
your
it.
second favorite Michael Douglas?
What's that?
Who's your second favorite Michael Douglas?
Oh, second favorite.
There's another Michael Douglas.
There is another Michael Douglas. He's probably your first favorite Michael Douglas. Michael Keaton's real name is Michael Douglas.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes perfect sense. So that's right. I knew he took Buster Keaton's last name. I did not remember what his.
And I was trying to think,
which is so much better than taking Alex P. Keaton's last name. But it was actually, he did use Buster Keaton's last name. So.
I was trying to think of who the lead actor in Green Acres was, because his last name was Douglas. But I'm thinking, is that Michael Douglas? But they was just called him Mr. Douglas.
No, that's Eddie Albert. His character's last name was Douglas.
No, I know. But I was just trying to.
Oh, you're saying whether his character's name was Michael Douglas?
Yeah. It was something Douglas.
I think it was. Yeah.
She always called him by his first name. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, we've really gone into a rabbit hole.
People, this is the point where we fess up and we really have no content this evening, and it's just going to be there.
We do have a plan. We've just gone completely
We have a good
book.
plan with good stuff. We're going to talk about the Avengers Doomsday Cast announcement, and there's some interesting things there.
And we're going to do it in real
talk
time.
A little bit.
So brace yourselves, get a drink. We're gonna make
6 hours.
We're gonna reference one cast member every half hour or so.
Oh my god! Then we'll do a little bit of the prop store recap, auction of the props. But let's do some. Now we have to do some quick.
Oliver. It was Oliver Douglas.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is lightning, people. So you're definitely hearing the thunder.
We forget that set of shows. But that set of shows was actually like the original spin-off generation thing, because there's there's a whole bunch of interconnected shows even before the Norman Lear shows that
I remember Petticoat Junction,
and then there was another one.
Wait, Petticoat Junction and Green Acres are connected.
Oh, yes, and there's another one that didn't fly, but and those were before. Those are before the Norman Lear era when everything was connected. The other predecessor to that is what? What two shows? What show spun off another long-running show?
Batman and the Green Hornet.
Totally not Batman and the Green Hornet.
That's true. Though.
Andy Griffith Show and
Mayberry, Gomer Pyle.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. Norman Lear, like I said, gets credited for creating the sitcom spin-off era, but really it was out there before he was. So,
since we're down this rabbit hole, in your mind, what was the premise of Petticoat Junction?
Three cute
attractive
daughters
women
and
named
a train. I don't know.
Billy Joe, Bobby Joe, and Betty Joe,
That's exactly all I can
all I
remember.
remember.
Is
And then
three
Uncle Joe,
cute girls,
and he was just annoying whenever he was around. But I do remember
It's a hotel.
Was it a hotel?
It's a brothel,
They're at
right?
The show takes place at a hotel. I know that.
Okay. Don't even remember that. I do remember. Yeah. So.
All right.
Oh,
let's go random. Barry,
I know we're completely off book. The Beverly Hillbillies was also spun off, I think, from that Petticoat Junction and Green Acres. I just looked this up.
What's it?
Series is one of 3 iterated shows about rural characters produced by Paul Henning. Petticoat Junction was created upon the success of Henning's. They weren't connected as much as he created one and then he created
the same
others.
guy did
But they
them.
had
Same guy did
crossovers.
them.
Yeah, there were actually
I think there
crossovers.
probably were
So,
crossovers, yeah.
yeah.
Anyway.
So, yeah.
Dave, you were trying to get us back on track.
Those
I'm
rural
sorry.
folk, they're entertaining. So, yeah.
Yeah, Barry.
Yeah.
Random.
Oh, random. Okay.
More random, less random than what we just
I was
went
going to
through
say, what we just did was pretty goddamn random.
for 11 minutes.
Okay. Star Wars Celebration is coming up in Japan, April 18th to 20th. I saw today they announced an exclusive Hot Toys figure. Did you guys see this?
No.
It's a Stormtrooper. I'm going to text you a picture of it while I say the words. It's a Stormtrooper. It's a Stormtrooper with cherry blossoms and some kind of kimono over the armor.
Oh, cherry blossoms is a big deal in
It is, but it just
Japanese,
doesn't work on a
culture.
Stormtrooper.
Well, more than the China pattern. Okay.
It's worse than the China pattern one because this
oh
one
God,
they
it
gave him
is
a kimono.
Barry. Okay, I concede that.
That's awful.
It is worse than the China pattern. Wow.
It's really bad. It looks like he was playing paintball, and he's just got like red splotches all over him. Except he's also wearing a kimono.
You know, red would have been better
makes
than
no
the
sense.
than the pink.
If there was ever a figure I didn't need, it's this
cherry
one.
blossoms are pink.
I know, but I'm just saying. It's just if it were red, it would kind of look. It would look like blood splatters. But
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
So,
weird.
Anyway, I'm hoping we get some kind of announcements or some kind of news coming out of that show, but we'll know in a few weeks.
I'm trying to. I don't. It's like it's so not even remote to that I could go. I try not to care about it.
I don't care
How
about
would you go?
missing it. I just hope that there's some news that comes out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So apparently, on the extended version of the Blu-ray for Back to the Future, there are out.
Are you guys hearing that?
No,
What's that?
It's
like Zoom cancels it out. Dave.
Thunder, like right over my house. I'm sorry.
So apparently, on the extended version of Blu-ray, there are auditions for the role of Marty McFly. Have you seen this?
I just.
Oh my
watched it.
God! They so chose wisely. Okay.
Well, no, they didn't because they chose Eric Stoltz after.
Oh,
all
I know,
that.
but I'm saying, yeah, but still,
C. Thomas Howell.
I was going to use him last because he's a friend of the show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought you were trying
No,
to think.
John
I was
Cryer, Ben Stiller, C. Thomas Howell, Billy Zane, and Peter DeLuise for
Zane
for Biff.
as Biff was horrible.
Yeah, he was
Horrible.
And when's he ever been good? Frankly, okay. And Keira
He was
Sedgwick
good in
for
Titanic.
Jennifer
He was a
Parker,
good dick.
but really interesting. Not Eric Stoltz's test though. Interestingly, but it's just weird seeing these things and seeing these people, and it's like
yeah, Ben Stiller is not
Ben
good.
Stiller is not.
Well, what
good.
I saw
and, it's just, and
I
the
saw
thing
it
is,
today, and oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say is he doesn't look like Michael J. Fox does not look like a high school student. These guys do not look like a high school student. So
I thought C. Thomas Howell of all of those did a pretty good job.
He's just not Marty though. But like I said, it was just interesting to see, like I said, this kind of thing, because I think he carried off for someone his age. He carried off being a high school student pretty well.
Well, just like John Travolta when he was 40 and did
Yeah,
Grease.
well, that's yes.
Yeah.
But
They
everybody
look like
else
high
at his
school
school was 40 also. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah.
What I didn't know until today, and maybe this has been out there, but So Melora Hardin was actually originally cast as Jennifer with Eric Stoltz. And they fired her once they cast Michael J. Fox because she was too tall.
Yes. Yep.
Who's the person? I don't even know that person.
Did you ever watch The Office?
She was Michael's boss / girlfriend.
She was Jan on The Office, Michael Scott's boss, who he eventually married.
Well, wait. But they filmed with Eric Stoltz for 5 weeks. Did they film? I mean, Jennifer's not in it a ton. That was probably easier to.
No, but I saw an interview clip with her today where she said that, after they fired Eric Stoltz and they brought in Michael J. Fox, they just realized she was too tall for him, and they had to. And she said it was 2 female executives that fired her, but she doesn't hold a grudge because she knows how hard it was to be a female executive in the 80s in Hollywood. So she didn't hold it.
But that was a real. I mean, Michael J. Fox
she's
is like 5'4".
She's in a bunch of stuff, Barry, and every time I see her in something, I'm like, I know her from somewhere, but I can't figure out what it was.
Yeah,
because she's always very different than that. Very different than that character.
Yeah.
So.
I got a couple of things. So they're making this show Lanterns.
Yeah.
Supposedly Nathan Fillion's Guy Gardner from Superman is going to be in Lanterns. Whether it's a lot or little, I don't know. So that's interesting.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense too. He's more a TV actor than
I think they're trying
a film
to
actor,
be
and
cohesive.
I think coming down from the movies to TV supporting it versus trying to build from TV to movies makes more sense. Having something that you can watch on TV that's adjacent, that's not your path to the film makes a lot more sense. It's like
I'm assuming Lanterns. I don't know when it's coming.
So what I'm saying is basically do the Penguin thing, where you make the movie. If you really like the movie, you're going to like the series.
Yeah,
but you don't have to watch the series to understand the next movie.
Oh, here's the new Captain America.
Yeah, no, and Peacemaker worked that way too, and that worked out well.
And that's a perfect example, Barry. Where, like I said, if you understand, if it had the connection, but it also works standalone. I think that's a much smarter strategy than what Disney did. So,
while I'm on DC, supposedly I don't think this is confirmed. Bradley Cooper is going to be Jor-El.
Yeah, in just like a very quick early scene, which hopefully is a montage because we just don't need to.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, oh wait, he's buddies with James Gunn. Of course, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All you're going to hear is Rocket Raccoon.
I think the Superman origin, the Spider-Man origin, and the Batman origin are like the 3 things that we just don't.
He'll be smart about it.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But
in
it's
3 minutes.
Yeah.
And
or it'll be a
wait, they won't go back to
something.
an ice cave and have him monologue for a third of the movie? No. Yeah, I think they'll do it right. So.
Yeah, that'll be cool. Him as Jor-El would be awesome.
So I've got one that is borderline. I don't think it's a spoiler. So I'm just going to say it because
Todd.
No. I feel confident in this, but apparently on an international version of a Thunderbolts poster, it actually, it has the Thunderbolts name and it's got the asterisk, but at the bottom of the poster in really, really small type, it has what the asterisk stands for. And it said that it was asterisk, the Avengers weren't available. Is what it says on the poster. Now, it might just be that poster.
I think there is a marketing thing associated with that where they're going to have multiple things like that. Okay? Because I saw a thing that's an asterisk. Yeah. I saw a thing that's asterisk not associated in any way with Thunderbolt Ross. Okay? So, on something else. So,
okay. So maybe they are doing
really
multiple.
Clever if they come up with like a bunch of different things like that it could be, and just roll with it. So yeah, I think that's what it said. Not in any way affiliated with Thunderbolt Ross.
There is a new teaser for it. And they talk about that Sentry guy a little bit.
So
interesting.
I got another. So apparently John Carpenter just spoke at a showing of The Thing, and basically said that he knows which of the 2 guys at the end of the movie was infected. but that the actors didn't know. But if you watch closely, there's a hint. And so people have like jumped back into this big time, including one of the Russo brothers, Joe Russo. And he advanced his theory, and people are kind of tearing that apart. But I don't know. And I honestly don't think we need to know. I think at this point,
we shouldn't know.
No, it's a perfect ending.
It is a perfect ending. You know, Keith David is off screen for a chunk of time. So that's always lent the impression that could be when he was infected, if indeed he was. But his thing is about their sharing the bottle. His sharing the bottle with him, and doing that potentially infects him. So,
JB, what's that? Whatever that kills the bacteria.
Yeah, exactly.
That cheap scotch.
That.
No, it was that he drank that. I think J and B.
Yeah. The J and B. Yeah.
It's like something. It's 2 Italian names or something.
But Dave, I'm glad you said that, Dave, because it is exactly the perfect ending, and just needs to be left exactly where it was. So.
Yeah. Everything doesn't need to be answered.
So
no. For sure.
Though I was talking to somebody recently, kicking around the idea of what you do for a present day sequel to The Thing, and you totally could have like McCready still alive somewhere. You could have the helicopter come in right after that scene, and anyways,
and he's chasing Godzilla.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's what the problem is, because to make it work, you really got to bring in his son to play. To play his son or whatever, and then
to play him, or what? Yeah, it's tricky.
Yep. So, anyways, but again,
he seems like the kind of guy who just like, let's just leave it.
I think it's a brilliant film, and the effects don't quite hold up at this point, but it's still, as you said, the ending is perfect. So,
as long as you're not trying to like get a younger audience into it based on it looking and feeling like a modern movie, then I don't think it.
Then you haven't watched the 2010 version, and you don't tell them about the because
we said when we did that on whatever show, that was actually way better than we thought.
Oh yeah, they hold up pretty well.
It's just a weird thing that you make a prequel and give it the same title as the original. So it's basically like
that makes no sense.
It's like they wanted to do a modern remake, but did a prequel, but didn't really want to tell you. And they didn't even go, the Alien sequel route where they lie to you and tell you it's not a prequel. They just didn't explain it, and which is why 12 people saw the movie. But still, it's good though. I really recommend that to anybody. It's just like I said, if you love The Thing, check out the other thing.
Yeah. My last thing is, I know we talked about this once before, but Warner Brothers, in their infinite wisdom of no wisdom, and shelving movies as tax write-offs and stuff, they will not release Coyote versus Acme, which is basically a live-action / animated movie of the Coyote suing Acme, the Acme company, which I think is hysterical on its own. But they just announced today they completed a sale of the movie to something called Ketchup Entertainment, and so it will be released. And I've read a couple of stories over the past year or so that says it's really funny and good for one of where like Space Jam isn't. This has the potential to be good. So
my only problem with that statement is that John Cena is in it. So sometimes John Cena is good.
Why do you hate John?
I don't hate John Cena. I'm just saying, like, he's great in Peacemaker, so he can be good. But
wait, he's great, so he can be good. I don't know. It's like I actually think he's born. The role he was born to play was Peacemaker, but
I'm curious. I was always curious about that movie. So if it's available somewhere, I'll watch it. But I still don't think there's any hope we'll ever see the Batgirl movie.
Oh no, there's some like video of fight scenes being filmed that's out there now. It's actually like filming during the filming, and it's like, this looks like it could have been decent. I think it's really unfortunate, but that's the decision he did. On a similar note, there's now a trailer out for Alec Baldwin's movie Rust, which honestly, I am stunned they're releasing that in the theater.
I'm shocked they're releasing that.
It seems like if you threw that on a streaming channel, out of curiosity, you could get a lot of interest. But this is going to crash and burn. And, you know,
I don't
get it. I did.
Yeah, I don't either.
On my 2 days staying home with COVID, I watched a YouTube video and then followed a link, then followed another link. And I ended up watching like 2.5 hours of that of the Armorer's trial. And I mean, this woman seriously was irresponsible, but people hired her, and people created the circumstances where that could happen. And I think a lot more people were responsible in that case than ultimately spent time in jail, because it's ridiculous.
And he was. I don't think he's at fault. He's just the famous name.
That's not a producer.
Money.
Oh no. But I'm saying he wasn't involved in the hiring, and he was involved in the staffing. And it's like when you have someone whose responsibility is handling live firearms, and you give her 2 other jobs.
No, it was some low budget piece of crap. I don't know why they don't just take a loss.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know whether
that's probably
they think,
what they're trying to capitalize on any notoriety this movie
and that's
has
what I'm saying. Whether they think
it.
there's going to be the notoriety is going to get people to be interested in it, or it just So
maybe they're
a good
also
looking trailer.
just trying
though,
to
I gotta
recap.
say, it's a good looking trailer. So
maybe they're just trying to recoup any money they can. I mean, if they were decent people, any money that this movie makes should go to that person's family. But they're not going to do that. It's Hollywood after all.
I don't know why they even went and finished it.
I think they were really, really very close at that point. But there's Dave. I think you know who James Reeves is, who does a lot of firearms related videos. He interviews the expert witness, who is also an armorer for films. And basically nothing they did on this film was the way they're supposed to do things.
No, it was a train wreck.
And I think this should exist, if only as an object lesson for everyone else making a film. So, it's like...
There's no way. I don't know. It's semi-related. Do you know Alec Baldwin has a reality show with his wife and family?
Yeah. I
saw maybe 20 minutes of one episode the other day, and I'm like, first of all, I'm surprised he has as much. He's got a house in the freaking Hamptons that's like 10,000 square feet, and you look at him, and he's got a net worth of $70 million, which I'm like, really? And most of that is probably office money, not office.
30 Rock.
30 Rock money.
Yeah. Well,
he's supposed to get $15 million for the last season of 30 Rock.
Well, and if he invested
and he was making $300
over the course of his career, then yeah.
But it looks like he's had a lot of trouble. He's, divorces and all that stuff. But
I was going to say, he hasn't made a good decision since he split with Kim Basinger. But
he's got 7 kids now, not including his 7
currently.
Kids. They're all under 8. How do you, as a 66-year-old man, how does he not swallow a freaking shotgun?
Oh
my God.
So,
all right. On that happy note.
Okay. On that note,
I'm going to just rattle off a couple.
Let's just say there was probably a day in the last 2 years where we considered it. So,
couple of quick premiere dates for things coming up that we should be paying attention to.
All right, this is all we're doing today is random.
I know, it's just all
stuff
random.
we're not doing.
Season 6 of Handmaid's Tale, final season, April 8th, which used to seem like a fantasy show and now feels more like a documentary. But I've watched the first 5 seasons, so I will finish it.
God,
Black Mirror.
I was so depressed by the end. I just psyched myself up to watch the second season. I cannot imagine that's still going.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's still going. It's been a while. It's been a while since the last season. Black Mirror Season 7, April 10th on
Yes.
Netflix.
I'm looking forward to that.
Episode 6 is the USS Callister episode. It's an hour and 28-minute episode. So it's a mini movie.
Wow.
So,
And
this
looking forward
is
to
the
that.
first ever sequel within this anthology series. So
Yes.
it's
I didn't watch the last bunch, but it's been a while since
the
it's
last
been
bunch
out,
was
right?
actually was pretty good. They were 50-50. It's as anthology series tend to be. But I
don't remember. I remember watching that McAllister
one,
or whatever
yeah.
McAllister.
Yeah.
I don't have a sense of it at all.
every once in a while I'll go back and I don't watch them in order. I kind of read the descriptions and pick and choose. And every once in a while I figure out, I never did watch this one. And I'll go back and watch. And there's some really great stuff in there. And it's probably 50-50.
I'm going to rewatch the first Callister episode before I rewatch the
I'll
new
watch
one.
that.
But I remember it being great, though. So I'm looking
Oh,
forward to
it was
that.
it was one of the best, Star Trek send-ups ever. And the premise was terrific, and they did a great job, and everybody in it did really good. So, I'm excited to see that. So,
All right, Last of Us Season 2, April 13th. So I know we all watched it. I know we all liked it, and I haven't thought about it once since, but I'm looking forward to something new to watch.
I'm looking forward to that. I'll watch that.
And then finally, Andor Season 2, April 22nd.
Oh, Jesus.
We're now less than 3 weeks away.
I'm not counting down anything. Todd, did you start watching Bosch?
I watched all 4 episodes. Yeah.
Oh, you did. I've only watched.
Yeah, I didn't intend to, but it kept serving them up, and I couldn't say no.
Kept going.
I will say, and so I'm just going to keep this rolling. Okay. I am so consistently impressed with that show on a number of levels. They do some stuff. I mean, it's like you and I both know something about guns. Okay, it's like watching Reacher. Every time there's anything related to guns, you have to just go, okay, this is like an alternate reality where things don't work the same way they're supposed to work, and it's just they do such a great job with Bosch. I think it's
he had that sweet
Terran Tactical
45 with like a copper.
Yeah, no, that's a Terran Tactical. I think.
Oh, is that
Scorpion? I
Terran
think it's a
Tactical
Scorpion
has
or something like Viper. Might be a Viper. Terran Tactical Viper Compact.
Well, that's what's his face. Wick uses the pit.
Sorry,
Viper.
Barry. We'll talk about normal stuff again.
No, it's okay. Do your gun thing.
One of the things, though, okay, and it's not a spoiler. In a later episode, he gets involved in a shooting with that gun. Okay,
with the fucking vice president.
Okay, he kills the vice president.
He kills the president in the first 20 minutes.
In the next scene, he's doing something else. He has a different gun. And this is one of the things that always bugs me. When you're involved in a shooting, when you're a cop, when you're not, whatever like that, they take your gun, okay? It's evidence, okay? In every cop show you ever see, somebody's in a shooting, whatever, and then the next scene, they're still running around with the same handgun. And it's like he's got a different, he goes to his backup piece because, they obviously will take his gun. And it's like little details like this that just actually make sense versus, did you watch the last season? Did you watch the last episode of Reacher?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Dave, what happens if you stick an obstruction in the end of a barrel of a heavy machine gun?
I don't trust to stand in front of it. I know that.
Let me tell you.
You get shot with
back
the bullet
end of
and
the
the thing
gun.
you stuck
The
in
back
it.
end of the heavy machine gun will not explode like a grenade. I can just absolutely promise you
No,
that.
you're going to get hit by two things.
Everything in Reacher is
The
suspended disbelief,
projectile
though.
that you just put in there may hit you, or pieces of the end of the barrel, which is where the explosion will be, may hit you.
Yeah.
But it's again.
I thoroughly
How about
enjoyed
the
that
loaded
finale. But
The loaded Uzi in the cabinet. in the,
of course, as one does. That's how mine is. But it's just little things like
don't
that.
you hate it, though, when you watch somebody drown into the depths of the ocean and then 10 minutes later
Only
they
to
somehow
come
are
back
on the land
It's
chasing
like
you?
at some point I'm watching this and it's like, and again, I love the movie, I love the shows. It's just it's almost, it lapses into cartoonish at some point. But it's like when this guy becomes like Jason from one of the Friday the 13th movies where,
Well,
I'm fully expecting the next film
really
him to
was
show
fun.
up with like 2 Band-Aids on his face and still be trying to kill Reacher. I
enjoyed it. I thought it was a good finale.
Oh, it's good. It's just like, but you just really have to turn off your brain about certain things, like that 8 ATF agents would get killed, and you just leave the scene and go do something else.
And that was just, we'll catch a little bit of hell.
Yeah,
this
isn't going to end well. Let's just go. Yeah, she's sitting there telling him, "Yeah, I'm going to lose my job." No, ma'am, you'd be in handcuffs. In the back of a vehicle right now, prison. And he wouldn't be getting on his motorcycle and riding off to sunset. That's the other thing too. I want to go onto a crime scene with multiple homicides, tons of illegal weapons, and just take what I want and leave and have nobody notice.
Yeah. Just sneak out with the motorcycle
or the money. It's just like
he tells the kid, you got about 10 minutes. Gather as much money as you can and get out of here. Like they wouldn't be watching him.
That's what I'm saying. And then and again the same thing with her. She's like, "Oh, it's okay. I told him you're ex-military investigators." And it's like, who cares? There's 8 dead ATF agents, for a raid that you led them into. Anyways,
I just love that they found a guy who makes Reacher look small to have him fight.
Yeah, boy, and they had to work hard for that.
Gigantic.
I wonder if we're going to see her again. What was her name? Duffy. Whether we're going to see her in the Neagley series. So
I really loved the fact that she was basically giving him she was letting him down easy.
Oh, that was awesome.
That was a
awesome.
great way to handle that.
Funny.
Yeah, I that show's just fun. You can.
It was fun.
It is. And like I said,
like
you
Swiss cheese, but
can't
it's fun.
take it for anything other than it is.
Yeah.
But it's because let's face it, if his goal was to shoot the guy in the face and get the kidnapped girl back, okay, they probably could have done this in episode 2.
They absolutely could have done it in episode 2.
Particularly when he has no compunction about murdering anybody at any time. Shoot the guy in the face and just keep torturing his henchmen until they tell you where the girl is. Game over. But it's, again, I'll keep watching. It's been interesting. Dave, have you read the books?
Long time ago.
I was just wondering how close this is
half a
to
dozen of them.
My last thing, and I got to say, okay, people, just in case your entire home defense plan is based on having a short-barreled Mossberg shotgun, okay, people don't fly back 10 feet when they're hit with a 12-gauge shotgun. It just doesn't happen.
But it looks so good on camera.
You cannot simultaneously take down a chandelier and blow a guy back 10 feet with a single shot. It really doesn't work that way. So
it just looks
just in
cool,
case,
though. It really
does
look
cool. It
cool.
does look cool. Yeah. So I guess that the fight between him and the big dude took 3 days to film. Or I'm sorry, no, 3 weeks to film. It was 3 weeks of filming.
That makes more sense.
3 weeks to film that from start to finish. So there was a lot of scenes there. That took a lot,
Well, it kept
that was
going
whole,
and going and going.
That was like the last third of a Friday the 13th movie right there. So
yeah.
I was going to say that fight probably extended over like 25 minutes of the episode, right? It was
It did.
Long scene.
Yeah.
And you know who else is
like
awesome?
Regular, much like
who's
like random
not
topics.
long-winded about nothing for 40 minutes? Fanboy Collectibles.
They're the best.
Oh boy. Okay.
All right, Todd.
Hot Toys Daredevil Born Again. Todd must have pre-ordered that already. Bunch of Iron Studio statues of all types. Lobo, Daredevil, Spider-Man, Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
from
there's
the
like
Clone
all
Wars.
different franchises.
G.I. Joe, Masters of the Universe, all kinds of stuff.
A very cool looking Mondo, Batman the Animated Series, Batman
yes,
Beyond.
I was going to mention that too.
I just ordered that. Very cool.
I'm sure you ordered. There were like 3 things I think you ordered from today's front page.
Did you order Clayface though? Clayface looks cool.
I did not. Clayface does look awesome, but it's just we're into space issues at this point.
Exactly.
The Aragorn statue looks really cool too.
Aragorn, yeah. I saw that. I like him, even though I don't like those movies. But Pops and Sideshow and Hot Toys and statues, Iron Studios and all kinds of different statues of every kind. You think you're into something, they have a statue of it. Is this little list of people just gave an example of all these different things they're into. But they got everything you need. Check them out, fanboycollectibles.com. Check them out at their store in Newtown, Connecticut, and tell them the regular Joe's sent you.
So Dave,
I don't know
if I bought one of these, I was going to say, Dave, if I bought one of these super cool statues and I wanted a nice display case to put it in, how would I go about doing that? What would you suggest?
What are you asking me for? No. Fanboy, not fanboy.
He did it again.
Damn it.
It's just like
I always do it.
You can't even feed him the line, Barry.
From davesworkshop.com. We'll build you displays and plaques. Anything you need. Check out the website. You can email us at fromdavesworkshop@gmail.com. If you listen to last week's props podcast, I had a commercial in there. They brought me up, or my company up, 5 times. I got my money's worth.
Dave, what is the props podcast that you always call the props podcast? What is that actually called?
The stuff dreams are made of.
Good.
Yeah.
Affectionately known as the props podcast.
Exactly. But
they
that
call
does
it
not
that,
get somebody
too.
there. So.
No.
Well, that's one of their handles. But Dave Mandel, not only did he reach out to me asking how the commercials are going, but he implored people, basically threatening them to reach out to me and order stuff. So thank you. So check it out.
At one point, he also offered up a free display made by you.
He wondered. Yeah. I was in the live chat. I actually offered anyone use the code Ryan or Dave 10 and get 10% off. That stands for anyone.
Boy, you could be selling mattresses at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway. So, all right.
And I was just going to say, and I talked over Todd before, I was going to say, just going back to Fanboy for half a second, I don't know who the Witch of the Woods is, but I really do like her statue.
I do like her too.
Yeah.
Well, Witch of the West, is that what it's called?
No, Witch of the Woods. I know who the Witch of the West
Witch
is.
of the West is.
Yeah. It's kind of like a witch, Red Sonja, and Poison Ivy mashup.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
with a bloody dagger in her hand.
With a bloody dagger. So that comes from somebody else, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are we done for the night? Can we just call it a show?
I wish these things we have weren't topical because we could really just keep going randomly.
Okay.
Did you guys see Wicked?
No, I have not yet. No.
I was like, Wicked. I wasn't like... I actually watched it a month ago. I really enjoyed it. It was actually good. Ariana Grande kind of freaks me out the way she looks. She looks like this weird skinny pumpkin head. But she was actually really good in it, and so was... I don't remember the other girl's name. It was actually fun.
I've heard it's good. Maria saw it with her sister and really liked it. So
I've not seen Wicked. I've not seen the Barbie movie, and I have not been gelded yet. So we'll see. Maybe
Barbie
someday.
movie, not good. This was actually pretty good. Anyway, okay, let's just
wait. I just want hang on. You can't just move away from that. This could be the first sign of a softening of Dave Pisani.
This could be. Yes,
I think we should recognize this.
I like things that are...
It's a musical, Dave.
Girly.
I just didn't picture you as a musical guy. I didn't picture you as a musical guy.
I don't mind some. Xanadu.
Dave, and knowing your fondness for Green Girls, which I think is really behind this, I think you need to own one of these.
Why do you have
Sean sent this to me. It has the... It actually has the wicked.com address on the back of it.
The porno website on the back.
Yep, it does. So,
well, he has that because Sean knows he has
that's an important piece of history. No, he sent it to me for my Green Girls collection, and so it goes. I actually took pictures of it with Gamora and She-Hulk. So,
that's funny. That's funny. There's a handful of music. You know what? Oh my god, this is so random. I flipping channels at like 11:30 one night, Staying Alive was on, which is horrible, but I watched about 45 minutes of it.
That's like Grease 2.
Oh, no. No.
could-
No. John Travolta is at least in Staying Alive. So...
Michelle Pfeiffer's in Grease too.
No, but I'm saying, but Michelle Pfeiffer wasn't in Grease.
At least the lead character is in the movie.
Yeah, I
so
guess.
You get the girl, the lady from the freaking the soda shop.
But in Grease too, at least you get, instead of the greased lightning scene, you get the bowling alley scene. Where they sing the bowling song.
I haven't seen that since it came out. That's awful. But Stallone directed Staying Alive. There's a lot of sweat.
Yes.
And almost no body.
And headbands.
Just so you know.
There's headbands.
Okay.
So who is
Oh my God.
who's the blonde woman?
That reminded
I cannot
me.
think of her name.
Fiona Hughes.
Yeah, Hewley. Yeah, Fiona Hewley.
And not Hewley. Hudgens. And then who's the blonde girl who was in a lot of movies back then? Who's actually really Cynthia Rhodes.
That's who I was asking about. Cynthia Rhodes
she's the girlfriend. Yeah. The snooty one is the other one.
No, that makes more sense. Yeah, Cynthia Rhodes.
But it was soaked in the 80s. The headbands and everything. Oh my God!
You know what's funny is I just went to the IMDb page. Almost everybody in the cast doesn't even have a picture. That's how obscure the cast is.
Boy, that is
the cast of what?
Of
Grease
Staying Alive. Staying Alive. There's John Travolta, Cynthia Rhodes, Fiona Hughes, and 2 other people have a picture. Everybody else's picture.
Frank Stallone is in it.
I will screenshot this for you and show you what it looks like.
But there's 4 people that you know there.
I know, but usually the people you don't know at least have a headshot on the IMDb page.
There's almost no one else you see other than his mother that you really even need to know about. Yep. Boy, it's rabbit hole season. Rabbit season. Duck season.
Duck season. So what next?
Let's just go Avengers quickly.
So we won't go through every single cast member the way we thought we were going to.
No, we won't. How many are there?
Okay, so let's just say this. We don't need to talk about the Fantastic Four because we know who they are. Boom, done. We don't need to talk about the Thunderbolts because we know who's in that. Let's talk about the others.
Well, let's talk about the X-Men.
There's 20.
Let's talk about the Fox.
That's what I'm saying. The X-Men and the X-Men and the
so
residual
basically,
Avengers.
they gave all the. There's a lot of people who are missing, and we'll talk about that. So it's basically who's left of the Avengers.
Not really, though.
Like you see, yeah. There are even X-Men.
Oh,
missing.
I know that. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's very a la carte on those 2, but the entire two other teams from the 2 films this summer are represented.
Do you think they'll do another one of these? Someone was saying there's,
I don't think they're done announcing cast members. I think
I agree.
There's going to be more cameos.
For sure.
I think, but I do not think there'll be cast announcements like this. I think this is I think the other things they're going to try to keep under wraps.
Yeah, interesting.
And I also suspect there's going to be some disinformation out there. Because
someone was theorizing that this will start with the X-Men fighting whoever is left of the Avengers, because potentially they're from 2 universes and they're fighting because they could only save one of them. So that would make sense.
Pretty much Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, but that's isn't that the next one?
No, I think it's going to be.
That's the DC
I think
one.
it's going to be some threat crossing over between the universes, and people pursuing that threat.
But here's the thing. Let me ask you this before you go on. I imagine the goal is to get the Fantastic Four and the X-Men into this universe. So I wonder if it is where they're going to collapse into one universe.
Very possibly. I also think you're going to end the Fantastic Four with the gateway into this movie. I think they're going to end with a rip in the fabric of reality or something like this.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they're going to be staring into the X-Men are going to be staring out or something like that. There's going to be definitely, something along that lines. I think, I tell you the interesting thing with this is, pretty much, we know everyone stays on the board in Thunderbolts, right? You don't have to worry about a body count from that, because
Is everyone here?
Everyone's there.
Yeah, people were saying that they felt like this announcement in advance of Thunderbolts kind of, neutered Thunderbolts because you know that there's probably no risk.
I think you could have really got by without putting all those names out there. I think it's, including, Bob. It's like it's because it's almost a spoiler there. So
yeah, but do we? Even through the first bunch of Avengers, did anyone die?
No, but it just takes going into that movie knowing nothing about it. It does lower the stakes a little bit, right? Knowing that everybody's in the next movie.
Every indication we have about the Thunderbolts movie is they're going up against Sentry, okay, and he's a cast member of this film. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that I get.
So
I don't get that people in the Thunderbolts would die, but I get. No,
that's where I was going. Was like
because he's going to be a good guy, right?
Maybe he's still a threat.
Then why is he even in here?
Maybe he's still a threat.
Loki's in here, and Loki's been good and bad.
I think, as
Loki
I predicted,
has no business being in
I
this
think
movie.
Loki's going to be a good guy in this.
Channing Tatum is interesting, though.
Well,
is he the only one they're pulling in from?
Let's just talk about the X-Men in general for a sec. Like it's old. This is the old school X-Men cast. Like this is
right.
I think that's pretty cool that they're doing.
Yes.
That.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, I do too. I'm not saying it in a negative way, but like I was shocked. Like James Morrison coming back, Rebecca Romijn coming back. Like
other than Patrick Stewart, none of them are too old. Really,
did Cyclops get undead after X-Men 3? I don't remember.
They ignored X-Men?
No, but I'm saying he got killed in that. Did we see?
But he was in.
Days of Future Past? Correct.
He was in the end of Days of Future Past.
So Days of Future Past.
Once they reset,
eliminated that.
He was there.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's confusing.
But Jean Grey's still alive. Wait,
but she's not.
Jean Grey's still alive.
So
she's not here. And,
interesting.
And Patrick Stewart is actually getting pretty old to play Professor X.
He's in a wheelchair.
Think about how old he looked in Picard.
He could do this. He could do this for another 25 years. So
yeah,
I guess. Ian McKellen's no young but spring chicken either. So.
Yeah,
they'll be bits and pieces.
I think so too. I was saying that to you guys. There was 10 minutes for they gave like 10 minutes or 12 minutes between each 13 minutes between each thing. That is going to be way more than most of these people will get on screen.
But there's some significance to this 13 minutes. There's people are claiming. I don't know what it was. Well, did that have anything to do with the whole Loki time thing? Was it something about 13 minutes? No.
I don't think so. I don't know. It's going to be overanalyzed to death. My one hope, and this is my singular hope for this thing, is that Doctor Doom is not an alternate Tony Stark.
We say that every show.
I know. I'm telling you, that's going to.
And we should keep saying it every show.
It's going to kill it for me. It's like
they will kill.
If you there are stories with evil Tony Starks, and I'm totally fine if they brought him back as an alternate Tony Stark. But to mash up those two characters makes no sense whatsoever.
That that may be the line in the sand of
I agree.
Going on with the
it's
MCU.
Just like
Well, let me ask you this question. Just looking at the picture that I texted you guys, I had the full cast. Just looking at that photo, is that $200 million right there just in salaries alone? For this? Like the cost of this movie, it's got to be astronomical.
But Barry, like I said, they're each only in there for 12 minutes apiece. So
it doesn't matter. Just to get some of these people to come back, I would think they were going to have to pony up a lot.
Well, interestingly enough, they're in order of how much they're getting paid. That's.
I would hope David Harbour would be higher on the list.
Simu Liu really has some naked photos of somebody because he's way up there. He really shouldn't be up there.
Yeah,
he's got the 10 rings. He's got the 10 rings. One of those is like mind control. So,
yeah,
I'm excited for this. I think it's good that they've got this many people together for this. It sounds like they're doing something. I honestly thought we were never going to see any of these X-Men again after. It is interesting. They have got to be closing a door with this, though.
They have to. That's the other thing. How many of these characters could actually continue on into the MCU.
Put it this way:
as X-Men.
In like X-Men 5, they're all going to have walkers. I mean, it's just. Yeah.
I mean, James Marsden and Channing Tatum maybe could pull it off. The rest of them, and Kelsey Grammer's got to be what, 70?
Yeah, but it's a voice.
He's a voice in a CGI. Yeah, he's just motion capture at this point.
You must be super psyched to have Beast.
I wonder if
this is not my favorite Beast. I will say, but
the Kelsey Grammer Beast is not your favorite.
Not my favorite Beast. So I much prefer the Nicholas Hoult Beast. So
yeah. I wonder if they'll take some of these guys out.
Oh, I think they're all going to... I think they are the sacrificial lambs again. But
if they were going to do an X-Men movie, and now there's even rumors of the Russo brothers doing an X-Men movie. Do you recast everybody?
And you do. And I think... Why would you integrate this version, the 25-year-old version of these characters, into this universe? I think there's going to be. I think these guys are going to go out like light bulbs, and I think they'll be, the X-Men will reemerge in a different form.
But it's just weird to think that they've teased mutants a little bit, but it's like there really weren't any mutants, and then this whole universe collapses, and then the old X-Men come in, and now all of a sudden we've got a crop.
But they're from another universe. They established that in the Marvels, so.
They established,
yeah. So, I guess,
and
I think you're right, Todd. I think maybe there's something that they get taken out somehow, and maybe Professor X.
We see a new Professor X starting to put a team together,
but finds the mutants in our universe. Yep. So mutants in whatever number we are,
616,
69, whatever, is. They're not at the surface yet, but maybe they all exist. And he uses Cerebro thing to find them in our universe. There you go, boom, our universe.
You could totally do, and again, they just don't. It exists in our universe, and that's the other thing too. Is like the Fantastic Four come from another universe. Maybe they stay,
and not the universe where we saw in the Doctor Strange.
That's who's the big missing character here, right? You just had Wolverine back in Deadpool and Wolverine, and now you're bringing all these listed. X-Men back, and
but also think about this. So we saw a Mr. Fantastic in Multiverse of Madness. Okay, different world. We saw Johnny Storm from a team with a different Mr. Fantastic. Okay,
but we did see this Professor X though in.
No, I know. We also did see this Professor X, but what I'm saying,
it may not be this one.
Canonically, there are at least 3 versions of the Fantastic Four within this sphere. So, but we also know canonically there's about 60 Doctor Stranges. So,
I just want to go on record as saying I hate the multiverse. It's just too damn confusing.
It's time. Yeah, it's time for it to be done. For sure.
If this all ends with the universe winking out of existence and they can start from scratch and leave all this behind, I might be okay with that, because this has become so burdened. They've been so burdened by what's happened before, who's dead, who's alive, the timeline, and the fact that they're totally dependent on 50-year-old actors. So, yeah.
As the wise man Kylo Ren once said, forget the past, kill it if you have to. I really think it's time to move on from some of this stuff.
But what about the X-Men? They're new. I mean,
no.
Could they have the X-Men?
Have a new X-Men.
But that movie, this movie, and then take them out? I mean, Pedro Pascal is like...
This is what I'm saying. I'm saying, so do we end up with a universe where a new Fantastic Four emerges and a new team of X-Men? And I'm sorry to say this, but I'm going to say this. How much damage are the Russo brothers going to do with this by the time it's done? They're going to make a great movie, but are they going to, this time, are they going to leave things in a place where they can move forward? Because they didn't last time.
But I feel like that had to be their marching orders. Like bringing them back had to be make a great movie, but also set us up for the future this time.
Right.
Had to be.
Yeah.
But there's also this is the first one they're doing. They're doing 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that's what I'm saying.
This thing
I'm
is
saying
not going to be done
At
here.
the end of these 2 things, so
They're planning to do 2 days.
2030.
And I'm hoping to God that this isn't a bad movie, but God forbid this doesn't go over. They may never make that other movie. I know they're planning
oh no,
to, right?
that
But
other movie is going to
what
be.
they're
There's going to be
spending
parts
on this. If this is a
they're
bomb,
going to be
doesn't
shooting
matter.
parts of that other movie while they're shooting this movie. I'll tell you right now.
They
These
just
are
raised the ticket prices in Disney World.
yeah.
They'll be fine.
These 2 movies are conjoined, whether
I guess
we want to
but-
acknowledge that or not. It's going to be like Gwyneth Paltrow not knowing what movie she was in.
I don't blame
So
her.
they're already going to be filming stuff for that second film, but
But there's talk of. I read another article. There's other. So the list of people. Let me jump in if there's people that I'm missing. The people we're not seeing here. Tom Holland. We said Deadpool, Wolverine, Guardians of the Galaxy. None of them. Charlize, who's supposedly coming back for something.
Doctor Strange.
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, I saw an article today said that she's in the final phases of negotiating her deal to come back, but who knows if that's true.
Well, but the article I read said that Chris Pratt's deep in season 2 of Terminal List, and that could be a logistics issue or not. Tom Holland's going to be fully in doing Spider-Man 4,
which is going to be
that could be
which is going to pick up after this film supposedly.
could conflict with.
Well, no,
this.
it's supposedly
So
it spins off events of this film, is what people have said. So, but it's not. Yeah,
But since he's filming,
And this
already,
movie's coming out in a year.
If they need
Yeah.
him, they'll have access to him. And where's Haley?
He'll be in Atlanta, I'm sure.
Where's Haley Atwell? I mean, where's Chris?
Oh yeah,
Chris,
she's on the
Chris
bottom
Evans?
of this
I mean,
thing.
you're doing
We don't
all
need
of this.
Chris Evans.
I know, but you're bringing back the freaking X-Men. You can't throw Captain America and
I
Carter
still
in there.
say
he's-
I still
No.
say bring back old Cap and you put him in the Nick Fury role. You have him be the guy calling the shots. How cool would that be?
No, he's the new president because he looks like Joe
It
Biden.
does. No, you just give him a headset and have him like, you get on top of the building, you over there. Yep. Hulk, smash. He could still do that. So
Please don't.
I mean, it's just wild looking at all these headshots together. Like, to think that this is the cast of this movie is nuts.
And guess what? This is exactly they want us talking about this stuff.
Yeah.
They're doing the right. They're a little smarter than we are. Whether they make good movies or
Well,
not.
and it was smart to get it out the way they did so that it didn't all leak and it wasn't, they got to control it. So that was smart for them.
You're right because there's no way it's not leaking.
oh yeah. Well, put it this way. They're supposed to have a film 14 months from now. So one way or another, they got to be getting busy. Particularly when I think I looked it up, and Endgame was in post-production for a year and a half. So how do you do this?
Yep.
Maybe they're already filming.
They got to be.
Like have been for a while.
And
I also think
pre-production is different now than it was then. You can do and I don't know that they're shooting on a volume, but if they're shooting any of this on a volume, they get all that stuff ready well in advance of shooting. And
I think this is going to be a lot like the last season of Arrested Development, where you have a lot of conversations with people who aren't actually in the same room.
yeah,
It's like, and they played with it by the end of that. They're doing these cutaways back and forth, and it was like, yeah, they're not filmed at the same time.
Channing Tatum's got to be the happiest
Oh,
guy on
dude,
this
talk
page.
about
Like,
falling in it.
Gambit finally paid off for him.
It's like, dude, you died,
And-
and you're still getting to play the character.
What universe is he in, though? He's not even in the
That's
same
what I'm
universe
saying.
as the
Yeah.
X-Men. Anyway, all right. So it's interesting. We'll be hearing about this for 14
for the next
months.
year and a half,
Probably
yeah.
longer.
Yep.
Oh my God, yes,
Probably longer.
Okay, right now, is this going to happen 14 months from now?
No.
no, it'll get delayed.
I still don't. Last week I said it's not going to. I still don't think it's going to happen.
No way.
Probably November of that year at the earliest. Be
Yeah, this
interesting to
probably
see if
goes
there's
out to Christmas of
something
that year.
on the board in November that they can flip because it's
They better hope freaking Fantastic Four is good. 'cause
okay.
if
Here,
it's not,
that's my
it's
other
gonna
thing,
sink
Dave.
this thing.
Is this has got to be? They got to play. They got to have 2 hits in a row to feed into this movie because if these 2 things are stinkers, okay, it's
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts and then
Thunderbolts
Fantastic
and
Four.
Fantastic Four, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, have to be, have
it's
to be.
game over. They should just send these people home. Wait 10 years and start over.
I want to see the video of the guy, the stagehand, stacking up all the chairs on a little dolly and rolling them away.
So
Yeah. Well, let's hope not.
Oy.
You know me, cautiously optimistic, but
I think they were like,
this is
I
good
think like
stuff.
they were signing contracts with people, and that's why it was like, no, just okay, just sign. Okay, put his chair out. Okay, good. We got Hemsworth. Put the chair out. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Okay. Let's do 10 minutes on the prop store auction. Is that okay?
Yeah.
I made a list of the highest priced things.
And I made a list of the
That
things
sold.
that I was interested in and what those sold for. So most of them are the highest price ones, but a few that were lower.
And I'll listen to the
Well,
two
there's
of you
some
and randomly
surprises
comment.
with this.
Go ahead.
I either was listening to it while I was in the workshop or Dave's Workshop. Check it out. Dave's Workshop from davesworkshop.com.
Barry, write that down. We're charging him twice this week.
Okay.
Interestingly, and I just went back before the show and looked. I wanted to, just to recap. Interestingly, let's go Bowcaster first. I know that's on your list. Bowcaster was the highest priced thing that sold.
Yeah. I mean, 700 and
With buyer's premium, $768,000.
Right. Which I had said I thought that was going to be the item. And I know, the guys on Stuff the Dreams Are Made Of kind of said the same thing. So
They agreed. I thought the metal would be.
I did too.
The
I really did.
cover piece. The metal was the cover
Yeah.
item. Did not sell in the
I wonder
auction.
if that's ever happened before.
It did sell
yeah,
now.
it
though.
sold after the auction.
So it went for the low estimate, 307 so it went for 378,000 for buyer's premium.
Wow.
So
Yeah,
someone
somebody bought it
came
after the
in and
fact.
being like, so the way these auctions work, after the first week or so after the auction, that stuff that's not sold, you could basically buy for the low estimate.
if they choose to put it up that way, right?
Most of them,
No, but I'm
Most
saying
of the stuff
it is
does,
it is the seller's option, right?
Yes.
yes, yeah, you could pull it, sure. A week later, they claim 80%. There are deals to be made, so you can go in and not the first week. Like it's not a timeline that's specific, but then they'll take some people, most probably smaller things will take 80%. Some may take less. So the metals. I mean, hey, I feel like their estimates are always a little too high, but 300,000 for that metal to me is a bargain.
Oh, I think so
It's
too.
a bargain, but it's still a lot of money. And I'm glad that the family that's held on to it all these years is getting that. Plus, he had a bunch of other
but that's
items.
it's a little embarrassing that like it didn't sell in the
Oh my
auction.
God! Can you? I would guarantee there hasn't.
Here's the thing I didn't understand.
Do you
I
think
was
there's been a
watching
cover
it.
piece before that didn't sell on their auction? I mean, that's just bizarre.
Yeah, because usually the cover piece is a super expensive item, but it went up
Yeah.
to 270,000. So somebody was clearly willing to pay 300. Why didn't they just bid live? Why did they just not bid and then go and buy it after the fact? I
Maybe
can't
it's
imagine
sold
if
for
you were willing to
less.
spend 300 grand that you weren't paying attention and you weren't there at the moment you could.
I
have bought
wonder
it.
whether somebody was willing to pay 300 grand and expected it to go for much more than that, and opted out for that reason, because it is odd. You're right, Barry. Unless they thought that, they were. Yeah, I don't know.
Unless
It's
they
hard to
were
imagine.
worried
Here's
that
the
if they
deal.
bid the 300 grand, somebody might then bid above
That's what
them
I'm
and
saying.
then
Whether they would
yeah.
trigger a bidding war if they did
Yeah,
that.
triggered something. Or if I'm prop store and I go, Dave Pisani calls Brandon and said, "I'll give you $275 for that thing. Let me see if they'll take it." Oh, they'll take it. You're not going to announce that they.
No, I know.
You're going to put it in as the low
Yeah,
estimate.
I guess that's true, but
There's-
who knows? I mean,
But what you said, Todd, makes sense. Like, some knucklehead says, "Oh, I'm the only one, 300," and then that's how it starts. Then it gets out of control.
Everything that I was interested in, everything that I thought was interesting, that whether I was serious consideration for me or not, was quite a bit more than what the entry, the low bid was. I bet
even
most
on some of the
people-
lower price stuff. I mean, here's an example.
Right. No, but what I'm
One of
saying
the
is,
things-
I think I would bet a lot of people who could write that check looked at this and said, it's not worth $500,000 to me. And we're surprised to find that it didn't sell for much more than it did. Or it didn't sell. So
yeah, no. I mean, one of the things I had my eye on, and I knew it would go above my price range, was a hand-drawn storyboard from Joe Johnston that had the Millennium Falcon in it. And their estimate was $4,000 to $8,000. It sold with the buyer's premium for over $15,000. So, I wasn't going to buy it at $4,000, but it went over $15,000. So,
that was Dave's.
Yeah, it was one of Dave Mandel's items that he put in the auction.
Dave, what else you
got? Well, so the Ghost Trap was third highest at $327. Totally worth that, I guess, in the scheme of things. The Superman 3 costume, which is Superman 3 the evil, but they said there are almost no full costumes. You can't get Superman boots because you know why? They repainted them for Superman 3. They're maroon. That did not sell. It had a big estimate on
but they said, I mean, the belts are never there. There are parts that were on that costume that are always missing. So,
yeah, but it's interesting it didn't sell. No one wants to even again those Chaplin shoes was like number 9. They didn't sell, but they sold after the fact.
Those belong in the freaking
Charlie
Hollywood
Chaplin shoes.
Museum. I mean, those I don't know.
Yeah,
where
that's what I was thinking. That's not a collector thing. That's a museum thing.
Tholian and Webb, the Kirk thing, was spacesuit didn't sell. Had a big number, $100,000 on that thing, and half of it was
a
not
lot
even
of it's been restored, and some
repro
of it's
parts.
been
And let's face
replaced.
it, it's a pretty ugly spacesuit. So
some interesting things that went higher. Pee-wee's bike,
yes,
estimate was 15 to 30, went for 145,000.
And again, it was made. It was a production-made bike, but a lot of the parts that were on it were from
resourced.
production.
Yeah,
Exactly. The National Treasure storage tube estimate was 10 to 20,000, went for almost 70.
I know, and that was one of the things I initially looked at and said, if I was going to go big on something, it might have been that, but not
really.
Well, I love that movie, and that's
I like that movie too.
That's an iconic prop from that movie. It had the decoration inside of it.
10,000. You'd go 10,000.
No, I'm just saying if I was gonna go, that would be something that I would be like, yeah, that's something I would want to have. But
I'm with you. I think interestingly, one of the top sellers was the Batman Returns Batsuit, 157,000. This is interesting because even the Batman movies, and I'm taking my opinion out of this, that people hate, the Clooney Batsuit went for $63,000. Those Batsuits sell.
yeah, they do.
No matter what movie they're in.
Because they look good.
Again, no, it's the mom test. You don't have to tell anybody what a Batman suit is.
Batman.
The Mr. Fusion.
It's a Batman suit.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Keaton? No.
But it's not. Those are actually really good. Those Keaton movies are really good. I think you put that on a mannequin next to the Kirk spacesuit, and people are going to ask you all day long what the Kirk spacesuit is from.
Yeah.
So, no.
Do you think Clooney showing up at the end of Batman drove the price of this costume?
No.
A little?
No.
Because we're the only ones that saw that movie, Dave.
That was a
good movie, but I'm telling you, nobody
was.
saw that movie.
But it was a movie that came out
a couple of things.
knowing that it had no relevance whatsoever because they had already announced
but it
they
was
were
good,
killing
and
it.
the kid's good in it, and he's troubled, and I feel bad for him.
So Mr. Fusion from the back
was
of
good
the
in it.
DeLorean, $119,700.
Yeah.
That was not didn't get a lot
I
of
was
action.
surprised. I really was.
$119,000, Dave? That's a lot of money.
No, but that was like its low
I expected
estimate.
I mean,
think.
what? Yeah, I don't know.
If you're not
No
going to be
offense
able
to
to own
Barry,
a full-size DeLorean, that's the piece you want.
No one likes the sequels.
It shows up in the original
one
movie
likes-
at the end of the movie. It's
It
the
does.
final
That's
scene
what
of the
I'm
movie.
Not, but
saying.
it's
It is
attributed.
not from the sequel.
It's attributed to the second one.
I understand, but if you've never seen Back to the Future 2 and 3, you've still seen Mr. Fusion.
Yes.
I bet it. I'm with. I got you.
So here's one. This is just
Indy 3 Clapper.
Oh, go ahead, Dave.
44,000. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Name a couple.
No, I was just going to say, and this is stupid, but 2 cans of beer from Lost, 2 Dharma Initiative cans of beer.
I always see those and think of you.
I know,
They go
and
for
I
way
used
too
to
much.
believe, at some point I'll get those. Those went for $3,700. I mean,
It's so bizarre. It
the
is so
prices
bizarre.
on
And the-
Lost
you-
stuff keeps going up.
Yeah, I look at the Lost stuff all the time. I'm like,
Barry
maybe
would
Barry
like
can
this.
grab
I think
this
the
for
same
$500
thing,
bucks.
Dave. And
Nope.
and it's like it's
Nope.
crazy.
I just won't pay that, but yeah, I would.
Okay,
I would
so-
love to own those, but
Yeah.
the
two
binder
things
from
that's
Willow
weird-
that somebody said I should buy went for $2,394.
Okay. I hope
didn't
you
buy
enjoy it, Barry.
But
I hope
didn't
you
buy
enjoy it.
But yeah,
I will say my head scratcher, my 2 head scratchers from this,
I know exactly what
Go
you're going to
for it.
say. No, go.
the whip and the hat.
I was
Makes no sense.
shocked by that.
So, okay, so here's my thing. We used to say we pick up Harrison Ford coming out of his apartment. We drag him into the van, drive around, force him to sign autographs, okay, for a couple hours. Then we drop him back, buy him a coffee, drop him back off. No. The new plan is we pull him into a van full of hats and whips, okay?
we rubbed
And
them
just
on
rub
him.
them against them, take some photos, and then drop him off. Hat and whip from the kidnap van with Harrison Ford, photo included. Okay, they got to be worth
apparently
a fortune.
you
We
only
talked
need to get him
about
in the
this,
room with the stuff. You don't even have to rub him up against.
again,
Yeah.
the pictures are required.
He didn't wear these things.
But like what? The,
So we talked about it on the last show. The estimate for this hat and whip that were in a photo shoot, not even him wearing,
And not in a movie.
in the background.
Not in a movie.
The low estimate was $6,000. They both went for $41,000.
that I just can't get. I do not.
It's
do not get
mind-boggling.
Because to me, at $6,000, and I even was like, if this thing doesn't sell, that may be something that I would think about. Because, like, you're not touching an indie hat. $350,000 minimum,
No.
probably at this point.
Those are what you call
This is
Indiana
almost like-
Jones adjacent. They were not.
But for at $6,000, it's not bad.
But this is
At
like
40,000,
okay. Is this a step up from like a touring costume for promotion or something like that? Because you know
It's
been
not
next
even a
to
step
him.
up. It's a step down to me.
Is it? But I'm
Nah,
saying, but
it's-
okay, but a touring
in
costume,
the picture with Harrison
costume
Ford.
from Star Wars, like a Darth Vader suit, may never have been near the actors. Okay, these were at least.
it's in a picture. It's worth more. It's not worth $40,000.
But here's
Just-
the
I
thing:
don't-
a touring suit was built by ILM and may not be at the same quality as one that they would use in the movie, but at least it's made by the company. These were like
doesn't matter.
this was
Sourced.
a fedora and a whip that they
These
bought
were
to put in a
sourced
photo
for this
shoot.
Okay,
photo
let me
shoot.
ask you this. What was it? I don't know who the magazine was. Let's
Entertainment
say
Weekly.
It's Entertainment Weekly. Okay. If the person who bought it, and this is what I would have done, somehow ran down all the other pictures from that photo shoot, and there's pictures of Harrison Ford wearing it. That totally
would
makes it worth
justify
more.
this price point. To
Oh,
just,
if there's
because
a picture
think
of
about
him
that.
holding the
He's
whip,
wearing
wearing
it.
a hat, it's worth it. And I wonder if
Yes.
those pictures. I wonder if those
maybe
pictures
there's
exist.
pictures. I bet there's pictures inside the magazine.
No,
That
they
you
would
know.
have been. They would have had a photo of that in. The
They would have
auction.
done that. They totally would have done that.
You think?
Boy, wouldn't you?
Okay, fair enough.
Then it's I tell you, if they
maybe-
didn't, that's marketing malpractice because yeah,
then maybe that picture that ends up, you know what it's, the picture ends on the cover. There's 150 other pictures. You're telling me he's not in the freaking putting that hat on at one point? I guarantee.
Think about who you're
call
talking
the
about.
photographer.
Harrison
still-
Ford,
it's
crusty
still
Harrison
something-
Ford was not putting that hat on.
yeah. You're not going to tell them to do that. Yeah, it's like, do you want to put the hat on? No, I'm not
I bet
gonna
there's.
put that-
I'm
not gonna put
curious
the hat
about
on.
that.
Let me just
okay.
put this out there. If you're the photographer and you're on that photo shoot, you don't get him to sign the hat. The hat wasn't even like that hat should have been signed
See,
because he was in the
if
room.
that hat were signed, okay.
No.
If the hat were signed, yes. Okay,
That's where grumpy Harrison Ford.
that's where he just. They said, "Would you sign the hat?" And he said, "Woof."
No, because signing the hat makes you a fanboy. Okay, let's take one now with you wearing the hat. Let's take one now with the head in your lap.
It's very possible.
Let's take one
But
now.
Harrison
you know
Ford
where you
shows
find
up for a
those?
photo shoot. He looks at the camera and smiles, and you don't tell him what to do.
Yeah.
There was no way he was ever going to put that hat on or hold that whip in a photo shoot.
I'm curious.
You know where you
Because
find
he
it?
wasn't getting paid.
Go and Getty Images, and I guarantee you that Photoshop, that photo shoot is up there in its entirety with watermarks. So
Somebody
I bet you Harrison
owns those
Ford-
pictures. Someone found them.
Harrison Ford does not put that hat or hold that whip unless he's getting indie paycheck. I guarantee you.
I don't. That's bullshit.
Barry,
I don't think.
I
and the
think
funny
Barry's
thing is,
right on this. I think there's a publicist or a handler standing back there and say, "Oh no, put the hat on. That's another $150,000." It's like, yeah,
no way. Here's the thing, and I know we have theoretically had plans to kidnap him, but you see Harrison Ford on the street, he'll sign your shit. He's actually pretty good
I
about it.
saw a video today on Facebook that was somebody posted from TikTok. I don't see TikTok, but it was a video. Harrison Ford was in the New York subway. I guess it was a recent video. He's just standing on the subway platform and nobody was bothering him. So
That's New York for you.
Yeah, that's New York.
Here's an interesting thing, and I meant to bring this up a couple weeks ago, totally adjacent to this. So, Jack Nicholson was at the SNL 50 thing.
Yep.
They showed him. He has not really been seen in public in a few years. He retired. He's in his 80s. You don't see
basketball
him.
games.
Yeah, I don't even think he goes to the basketball games anymore, to be honest with you. So anyway, there was a video of him. Where were they? The point of the video was not what I got out of it, but they show, and I guess his daughter was with him. He's staying someplace in the city. It looked like the peninsula, wherever. He comes out. No, they were however was going, people knew he was staying there. They were all looking to get autographs. One of his handlers lined everyone up. He comes out of the hotel, stands in front of the door, and signs something for everyone in line. It was, if you've ever seen these things, there's people all over the place. They're shoving. Somebody was like, "Look, Jack will sign. You just got to be organized." I'm shocked that he did that.
Yeah, me too.
At his age, he's out of the public eye. Everyone was nice, behaved, lined up. And he signed a ton of stuff. That's awesome.
Cool.
I just do want to go on record as saying we were never seriously going to kidnap Harrison Ford. I don't want it out there in the universe that we were. We did say we were going to stalk his apartment and maybe wait for him outside and get him to sign stuff. We never were going to kidnap him.
Who went to school for 4 years at my alma mater, Amherst College, 25 minutes from here. At no point was a restraining order necessary to keep me from assaulting him on campus or engaging with him. I'm just saying this is, yes, totally a what if sort of scenario.
Yeah, and I will also say I have seen recent street autographs from him. They're not good. So when you pay the money, and I know it's exorbitant, but when you get him at a sit down organized signing, the autograph you get is night and day from what he gives you on the street.
Yeah. Do you think, let's say you know where he's going to be and you go there with your, right there, with your whatever hat, it's over here, I'm pointing. He will, do you think do you mind holding this hat while I just take a selfie? Would he do it?
I don't know I'd do that.
I don't think he takes direction from anybody.
I'm not asking you if you would do it. Would he do it?
I don't think so. I think he'll sign.
No, I'm saying I don't know if I'd
you
ask him that.
begrudgingly,
I don't know if I would ask him that.
I would totally. When he can, I mean, maybe he's like, no problem, kid. I'll put it on. That hat's that's a $10,000 hat.
Oh yeah,
even though we paid $48 for it.
So you're saying basically you're gonna walk around the city with a hat in your backpack.
Hey, believe me, and I've had the idea. There have been people there are things they know he's at, and they go to. There was this. He got an award from some flight thing that's totally arbitrary, and I'm like, and I think I said to you, we should go to this. People went to it. He had no problem signing people's autographs.
Interesting.
Was very cool about it.
But
Anyway.
Asking him to stand and pose with a hat might have crossed the line with him.
But let me ask you this. Now, at the next signing, you send the hat in. He's holding it to sign it.
Yeah, no, he will have
get a
touched
picture
it.
of that.
Yes.
It's not a bit for a $50 hat. Well, for a $1,400
I guarantee
signature.
you, though. Well, I don't want to guarantee it. I think there's a high likelihood the person that bought that hat and the whip didn't fully understand that it wasn't from a movie or that he didn't wear it.
I don't know. I really would like to know more
It's
about
a large sum of money for a hat that was in a picture with a man.
All right, we've gone along. Barry, anything else in that thing?
The Edge of Tomorrow helicopter blade sword went for $49,140, which I thought was really cool.
Like the fifth one of those.
Yeah. The thing that I was actually the closest to bidding on was the Warhead from the Abyss, and that only sold for $31.50. So that was actually fairly obtainable. So
I did buy something. I'll reveal it. These guys know, but I will reveal it when it comes in. It was not any of these in any of these price ranges, but I just can't wait for my hat and whip. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'm actually excited.
I sold my car, and I'm buying
I'm excited for what
an
you bought.
adjacent hat and whip.
Eager to see you go out in the town wearing your medal. So,
Yeah.
Well, I'll be flanking
We
you
have
with
to
my
find
bowcaster.
Harrison Ford in the wild, nicely and legally.
Yeah.
We have to do that.
No duct tape involved.
No duct tape involved. Here's an interesting thing is, and this, did I mention this as another adjacent thing? There was a Fandango, this is a bullshit thing, and I'll tell you why in a second. There was a Fandango poll or something. What is the most anticipated movies of the summer? I don't think we talked about this.
No.
Here's a summer with Superman, Fantastic Four, other big thing, Thunderbolts. What else? There's
Jurassic
a couple
World.
other biggies.
Jurassic Park. Yeah. That's the.
Mission Impossible.
Yep.
Yeah.
The most anticipated movie of the summer, according to this poll, is the new Jurassic.
Yeah, I'm not
World.
surprised.
Okay, Fandango, owned by Comcast. Jurassic World, put out by Universal, owned by Comcast.
Yeah.
Do the math. But
you know what?
two
For
maquettes.
normals.
Wait, let me just finish this thought. Two maquettes from new Jurassic Park movies. They're not filmed. They're not anything. They're just a filming thing that they use for maybe lighting. Went for $35,000. The low estimate was $3,000.
Right.
People love these freaking movies.
They do love these movies. And the other thing is, okay, they're tangentially connected, but it's not to the degree that the Marvel and DC stuff has been. So people will go to a Jurassic Park film and expect to be entertained without having to know anything.
And you can take your kids to see a movie with dinosaurs in it, and they don't have to have seen the previous
That's
movie.
what I'm saying. They don't have to have seen. It's like, oh, the old people, they were in the other film. Yeah, but you don't have to know that. And this
But
one is
people
going to
are
be
paying
and
10
they're
times the price,
and
for
they're
the
clean
maquette.
slating again with this film. There'll be hooks to the other films, but not. They're smart about this.
But you know what, Dave? With those maquettes, it's very possible that nothing from the production like that's ever come out, and they didn't know what to.
It's
You
a
don't see
two-year-old
this
movie.
stuff at all. You really don't.
There was a ton of real Jurassic Park stuff
Yeah.
in this auction. A lot.
I don't
Anyway, all right. That's enough. Well, let's go down a rabbit hole on Harrison Ford's career. Hanover Street. Do you remember that?
I remember Hanover Street. Yeah.
Wait, let's talk 20 minutes about Witness.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Hanover Street
This is
was
awesome.
Who was the female lead? Was that
It was the second, I think the movie he did right after
right? Was it Leslie Ann Down?
Star Wars.
I'm trying to.
It sounds like
I think so. Yes.
That sounds
Yep.
like it.
Yeah, I saw that. Force 10 from Navarone.
Oh, my God.
Okay.
I was
Wait,
joking about going down
wait a
this.
minute. I got another one. I go a deep cut on this one. Sally Ford, Henry Winkler,
Sally Ford.
Sally Field, Henry Winkler. He was a stock car driver. What the hell is the movie? Heroes.
Harrison Ford was a stock car driver?
Harrison Ford was a stock car driver who lost his nerve in Heroes. Henry Winkler got in the car and ran the race for him.
I never saw that.
Yeah.
No, I've
Heroes
never
is
seen
actually
that either.
Interesting movie. It's okay, I am going to spoil this for you. Vietnam veteran is like tracking down his friends, okay, from Vietnam, and at the same time dealing with PTSD, and meets Sally Ford. I almost did it again. Sally Field along the way. It was during her series of movies where she always was with a guy who was messed up for some reason. I was a runaway bride and ended up with a messed up guy. But very, very deep and very heavy. And
this is the movie that he made just after Star Wars.
Well,
I'm looking at it on
Winkler.
IMDb.
Henry Winkler and his, let's just say, his grip on reality was tenacious. It was good. It was very good, but very odd to see Henry Winkler in something dramatic like that after being the Fonz. So
there you go.
Okay.
That was a joke to go down the rabbit hole, but we did anyway. Working Girl. No,
okay. Yep.
Are we just throwing out
Working Girl's awesome.
random Harrison Ford movies now?
I'm telling you, good Harrison Ford movies.
Okay.
Firewall, 2006.
Okay. Air Force One.
That was this series of crappy
Air Force
ones.
One.
Air Force One's not bad.
Get off my plane.
Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys. Oof. Okay. Bad.
Favreau. Sorry.
Yep.
Okay. I've had enough of us. I'm sure the audience has too.
Yeah.
This is for our entertainment only.
At least we got in all the things we said we were going to do.
We did do
all
what's
the
in the
exact
box,
stuff.
but we'll save it.
You have any theories on Doomsday cast and what's going on? Let us know. You check us out on Instagram. And thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.